We tried our best at DAA to remain relevant during the pandemic, and a huge shout out goes to Ford and Jim Monak for making this session possible. As members, you know the highlight of our 4-day lunch outing, or 4-day outing, was always the lunch panel. And even though we couldn't get together this year to golf personally, we're very excited to have a virtual Ford day. So let's get this show on the road. And once again, a huge thank you to Ford. And I'll turn the program over to the guy who really made this happen, our moderator, Jim Monak, Digital Marketing Lead at Ford Motor Company.
This year, as Chrissy and everybody has said, it's been different, right? 2020 has been very, very unique. Lots of hurdles to overcome this year. And as marketers, we felt that quite a bit, right? And just looking at the amazing crew on this panel, they've done a lot this year. Just looking at these folks, I mean, you know, pulling off product reveals in ways that have never been done before, managing the ever-changing world of consumer privacy, canceling and replanning entire media plans, potentially like over the weekend, right? And none of that's possible without the help and partnership of all of you and all of our friends here in the DAA community. So thank you all for joining again. Thank you for your partnership throughout the entire year. Really appreciate you and all that you do.
I will say that we, you know, from a difference perspective, we've always taken the approach of like an audience first approach, right? So if I think about just like the linear TV and the advanced TV space, to us, it was really following consumers however they choose to watch TV and not thinking about it as, you know, every individual kind of bucket. So we're still going to follow that approach. That's super important to us. So that falls through the linear space, the connected space, and even the digital space. So that will still happen. But from a consumer perspective, it might feel like we're showing up in different places just because the consumer media habits are changing. And obviously COVID had a lot of impact on that.
Yeah, so this year is really going to be a brand building year for Lincoln. So last year, well, going into this year and with all the craziness with the pandemic, we were in the middle of launching Aviator, as well as we just recently launched Corsair. So really, we're building off of those launches and really focusing on our power of sanctuary messaging as we go into 2021, and really focusing across our full SUV lineup, which is going to be a lot different than what we've done in years past, and really focusing on that brand messaging and aligning with our key wellness and music pillars going into next year. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how we've done it, because we've typically just really focused on those launches, but now we're really going to take the time to focus on who is Lincoln and what we're going to do from that perspective. So I think there's a lot of exciting opportunity for us to come and really focusing on that SUV lineup. It's really great, especially Aviator is one of my favorite vehicles, and really being able to promote that as well as Corsair has been a lot of fun.
One of the beauties of ad tech is that there's a lot less like gaps in access to what we can do now, right? It continues to evolve and maintain access to different channels, different media types, different types of customers, different types of consumption and profiling and views of those users. And so with all the bad comes the good, right? And I think when we do break this apart and we figure out that inroad to figuring out privacy and legislation and regulation and all these things coming at us, I think it only makes our connection to our customers a lot stronger, since it threads through our product innovation to the media and the delivery, and continues to bridge like everything we're doing from a strategy into like into the activation world.
So the Rebel Rally is an 8-day all-women's navigation rally where you basically use only a compass and a map to get around and find hidden checkpoints and cross the finish line each day. You camp, you know, there's a base camp each night. You camp in a tent. You know, you're responsible 100% for all of your gear. We knew as soon as we heard about this event that we really wanted Bronco or Bronco Sport to be a part of it. Myself and the Bronco Sport brand manager, Jovina Young, decided to take on the challenge. We had less than a month to train. we learned how to drive in sand dunes. We learned how to use a compass and a map and a Portland plotter and rulers of various scales, all of this stuff that we had never even seen before, let alone used. Did things that I never dreamed I thought that I would do. And I definitely fell in love with off-roading and the women's off-road community. There's this whole underground community of women who are badass drivers.
You know, diving into distinct data sets that look into their behavior and look into shopper preferences, and trying to use the Endemic partners to reach out to this audience using this unique data set. And we try to use different creative and different ad formats to cater to these changed preferences and changed behaviors. And I think one of the biggest things has been the Endemic partners who have been proactively, you know, watching for these changed behaviors and helping us pivot and adapt as they see data coming in, and working through these changes where we are able to leverage these unique places and get our message through, working right, you know, alongside with these partners. I think that has been the biggest thing, the proactivity from their side and our ability to test and learn quickly using that data. Yep, so really next year will all be, like I talked about earlier, it's brand building as well as focusing on the entire SUV lineup. However, we do have some new product news coming out. I would say it's very minor, not all new, but we're currently in the process of revealing Nautilus. So OK to Buy will be in the first half of the year with that. And then we also have some exciting updates happening to Navigator as well. So really that will be the focus on the first half of the year. But again, you'll see a lot of our product messaging focusing on our entire SUV lineup going into next year.
I don't know if anybody's seen the Built for America work that's in market now. That's going to continue on. We're going to continue doing some of that brand building on the Ford side for sure. And then there were really exciting product reveals that took place this year. Again, kudos to like Erica, Courtney, and team for, you know, pulling stuff off like that Bronco reveal, which, you know, I think they're going to start teaching in marketing classes in university here soon enough, because it was really that good. But obviously, and Erica, you touched on a Bronco Sport in the first half of the year. We'll certainly be getting some love. And then Mach-E, of course, another really exciting reveal and a really exciting product as well that we can't forget about. Can't forget about trucks, and we'll certainly have a lot of love for the F-150 and the F-Series in the first half of next year as well.
The latest count of, you know, kind of what we've manufactured is 20 million face shields. We've donated 100 million face masks. We've manufactured 50,000 patient ventilators, 1.4 million washable isolation gowns, and in conjunction with 3M, more than 32,000 powered air purifying respirators. So I think, you know, I speak for everyone on this panel when we say we're very proud of the way Ford sprung into action when America needed it most, and used kind of our technology and our crazy smart engineers to focus their efforts toward what was needed. So built to lend a hand for sure.
And one of the things that stands out to me, thinking about when Bill Ford was on the Today Show when this first happened, and they asked him, you know, like, are you going to make money from this? And the look on his face when they asked that, you could tell like he'd never even really thought about it. He was like, I don't know. We'll figure all that out as we get, because that wasn't the priority, right? Like none of that mattered. And nobody's going to have to Uber home from this outing, right? Because they're already home. So it's not all bad, right? It could be an awful lot worse.